Hello, artists! For our project this week, we are going to read a book called Ish by Peter H. Reynolds and do a fun little project based on it. Here we go! Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. Ramon loved to draw. Anything, anytime, anywhere. Hopefully, you're not drawing in that place. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother, Leon, leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. "I'm not drawing. Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back here with that." Ramon raced after Marisol, up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. "This is one of my favorites," Marisol said, pointing. "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Ramon said, "but it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks vase-ish," she exclaimed. "Vase-ish?" Ramon looked closer. When he studied all the drawings on Marisol's wall and began to see them in a whole new way. "They do look ish," he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals. Tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoon-ish, fish-ish, sun-ish. Ramon realized he could draw ish feelings too. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. Ponder, pond, ponder, dream yonder, pond, pond, yond, yond. Dream, wander, by Ramon. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after. I love this story of Ish because Ramon went from thinking that he could draw, and then someone pointed out that he wasn't drawing things just right, and that hurt Ramon's feelings, and eventually he gave up. These next few pictures we're going to look at are some favorite artists, and you'll see that some of them look more realistic and some of them look more ish. The picture on the left is a beautiful vase of flowers, but they're not very clear. This one's done by an artist named Claude Monet, and Monet liked to paint things very gracefully and kind of hazy. Those petals and leaves aren't very clear. It's kind of a warm, sunny afternoon where there's a little bit of haze in the sky. The artist on the right, Pablo Picasso, You might even have to look a second to find the vase of flowers. He thought abstract was best. And abstract is when you have an idea in your brain, but it doesn't quite look exactly the way that it's supposed to. Things may be a little wonky. He didn't even use the correct colors, did he? But it doesn't matter. Art is what is in your brain. Over on the left, Vincent van Gogh, a famous artist, painted a beautiful vase of sunflowers. Some of those sunflowers have lost their petals, and it's just the seedy center left. Some of those flowers are dying. Some of those flowers still look fresh. He was painting life as he saw it. They don't look perfectly realistic. The colors are dulled down, but that was the way that he saw that vase of sunflowers. The artist on the right, yep, that's a famous artist named Andy Warhol. He was a printmaker. So even though it looks like it's kind of painted, printing is a process where you take an object and you're able to duplicate it over and over. Those flowers look more like a paper cutout than they do a real flower. And the background looks kind of like grass and not leaves and petals. It doesn't look realistic at all. It's kind of ish. And this went on to become a very famous painting. These are just some beautiful ones. They're not from famous artists, and that's okay. Look at the one on the left. That one is done with collage, cut and glue to make something new. It looks like maybe they took a magazine and cut it up. The one on the right is so bursting full of color. They look kind of realistic, but there's not a whole lot of shading. And usually the flowers don't all face the same direction like that. That one you can see the thick, juicy brush strokes left behind by the artist's paintbrush. The one on the left here is a watercolor painting, and it looks like it's blowing away almost. It almost looks like an oopsie with those flowers, like the artist dumped over their bowl of water or dripped too much paint on their paper. And it's beautiful. Ramon would have thought, oh, if he drew that, that doesn't look real, but it doesn't have to. The one on the right, they chopped off part of the vase of flowers, but it's still a beautiful vase of flowers using bright, happy colors, and one of them's even drooping over like flowers do. Your turn. Here's your challenge. I want to see you draw a vase of flowers at least 3 different ways. Are you able to draw a realistic looking vase of flowers? Can you draw an abstract? Like the one on the right, it looks like a little kid drew it, but that's a famous artist. Pablo Picasso. Yep, he did that. And can you make up your own creative way? Remember, it doesn't have to be with crayon or colored pencil or marker. As long as you have permission from an adult in your house, maybe cut up a magazine or cut up some scrap paper, go through the recycle bin, and make a collage of flowers. What can you come up with? Take your time on this. Do your best. Put some effort into it and challenge yourself. See if you can come up with 3 different ways to create a vase of flowers.